Yo, it's your boy Rome from Dormtainment, aka Spiritual Romeboy, and I am live and direct with my girl Maria for Spiritual Homegirl. If you need them facts, them gems, that love, that life, make sure you listen to Spiritual Homegirl right here. Boom.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Maria, the Spiritual Homegirl, and I am here with Rome Green Jr. How are you?
I'm doing well, enlightened, living, loving. How you doing?
I'm good. So for those who do not know, I interviewed Rome about maybe 6 months ago while he was out in California. He's here in Atlanta now. What are you doing here in town?
I am filming a short film. So I got booked for a short film 2-3 weeks ago, and now I'm here about to start shooting tomorrow, actually. Yeah, so that's what I'm here for.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's fun. It's fun. I like traveling for work. You know, when growing up, I was like, I want to travel for work, and that's what I'm doing. So I like it.
You know what? That reminds me. For those who may not know, we interviewed about just basic who Rome is. So for those who may not have caught the first interview, who are you?
I am Rome Green. I am a comedian, actor, entertainer, musician, all of that in one facet. I am a very spiritual person, hence, you know, me being on the Spiritual Homegirl. I am a military baby, so I'm very punctual with time. I was here before she was here, just to let everybody know.
I was on time too. He was just early.
If you're early, you're on time. And yeah, I mean that's who I am. I'm a lover. I am a faithful person, and yeah, I like to make people laugh.
You like long walks on the beach too?
Nah, because the sand get in your toes, and like I got big feet, so a lot of sand getting between my toes, and I ain't really trying to have that. Which brings me to a story. The first time we were in California, we were at Venice Beach, I believe it was, and they had tar in the water or something. So it gets on the bottom of your foot, and you have to scrub like to get it off. Like you have to really scrub, and it was really annoying. And I only had a little bit, but some of my homies had like a lot of. It was like black soot looking. It was terrible. It was terrible. Anyway, but yeah.
Note to self: don't get in the water in Venice Beach.
I mean, you can get in the water. I mean, they might have got it out now. That was a while ago, so I don't know.
Okay. All right. So for those who may have caught the interview last time, what place were you in when we first spoke?
I was in my house.
You was waiting on that one. I knew it.
I wasn't really waiting. You handed it to me, and as a comedian, I have to.
I always hand it to you, apparently.
I mean, you know.
Just like these riding boots I got on.
Yeah, if y'all can't see, for those who are listening right now, she got on the genuine pony boots. It got like some little tassels on it. It looked like, you know when you go to a car wash and they wash the car, it looked like she just shake your foot across her car, she'll clean your whole hood.
You ain't right. Well, they're Minnetonkas, okay? They're Minnetonkas.
That sounds like a boot you clean the car with.
Get on my nerves.
But no. I was 29 when you interviewed me last time, and I was in a confused spot in my life because I was in a in-between phase of doing videos every week. For those who don't know, me and my group, we do videos every Sunday, and we kind of slowed down from that. So I was in a spot where I wasn't really finding the joy in like that repetitive state of doing videos and all that stuff. So it was in between trying to figure that out, and we had projects up in the air. So it's kind of where I was. I was still happy, but just a little in a confused space. And well, for those who didn't hear the interview, you can go back and listen to it on Spiritual Homegirl. But yeah, so that's kind of where I was and trying to figure things out. Yeah.
Okay, so where were you personally?
Personally, it was right before I was going home. I knew I was going home that winter. Personally, I was in an interesting spot because I had just got really in a new like routine of things, like trying to wake up, meditate, trying to wake up and pray on a constant, trying to learn how to eat certain things, not eat certain things. I was trying to balance going out and doing work. It was just my head was kind of everywhere personally, honestly, at that point. Which a lot of people wouldn't know because I keep a cool outer shell, but sometimes on the inside, it's like a million little men running around throwing file papers everywhere. But as an artist and a creative, most artists and creatives will understand exactly what I'm saying. So, but yeah, that's kind of where I was, because I wasn't taking time to rest. I wasn't taking time to sit still, which I'm still tweaking that a little bit. But I wasn't sitting still at all. Like I was moving, and I was on a constant move. And moving is good, but also it's bad because you can't listen to that still voice inside of you, and I wasn't listening to that voice at that time. So, yeah, that's where I was personally.
Okay, so it obviously sounds like the way you're talking, that was past tense in terms of what you used to do, and now you're in a space where it seems like you're at least heading towards a 180 if you already haven't gotten there. So what were the things that happened to you in the past 6 or 7 months that caused you to move from that spot to where you are now?
Man, a lot has happened. And, well, starting in December, I got to take a trip home to see my dad, who I hadn't seen in almost 2 years. And me and my dad, it was the first time that we had like, me and my dad had always been cool, but like this is the first time we were connected. You know what I'm saying? And we hadn't been connected in a long time, because on this trip I took the time, because like I said, I was gonna be turning 30 this April, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna interview my dad for the second time. I was like, how you interview him? And I was like, interview him, and I was like, we're gonna get a little bit more personal this time. So on this podcast, like live on this podcast, me and my dad are talking about things that I had a problem with him when I was growing up, and he shared his point of view and perspective on things, and it kind of made me really step back and think I may have just been looking at a lot of things in my life without the right perspective, without the right glasses to say, like, so my dad, he was gone a lot when I was younger, but he was in the military. And at 8 or 9, my dad was only 32, 33 years old. Not much older than I am now. And the responsibility that he had to carry, trying to figure out his life, trying to figure out his relationship with my mom, trying to figure out his relationship with me, and me being, you know, at the age where I was starting to understand things, that was hard for him. So he didn't know how to explain that to me. And he said this to me on the podcast. And I was like, you know, I never looked at it that way until now that I'm older, because I can't imagine me having an 8, 9-year-old right now. Because, I was with my little brothers for a week, and I was like, all right, y'all got to sit down. They just keep going. Like, kids just keep going and going. So that happened, which made me look at other things in my life. Like, for example, when I was talking about us not doing skits and stuff anymore, I was like, you know, I'm just looking at it at the wrong, in the wrong viewpoint. I was like, we've been doing them, and it's okay to shift, and it's okay to make an adjustment. So many people are scared to make an adjustment because they feel like it's going to hinder their future progress. But what they really got to understand is making an adjustment actually advances your future progress, because you can't stay the same. It's like you can't be in this constant wheel of doing the same thing, because that's when you lose interest. That's when you lose motivation. So that helped me find perspective. And then the top of the year, I started fully going vegan, with the help of a trainer by the name, he goes by the name of Justin Physique. And he's a trainer, he's vegan. And I was like, you know what? Because of my Aries, it's either 0 or it's 100 with me. Either I'm not with it or I'm with it. And I was like, you know what? I've been doing pescatarian for like 4 years. It's time to crank it up. I was like, let me try vegan. But I want to try vegan and also build muscle and really like hone in on discipline. Like, I'm big on discipline and like staying true to structure of something once I put my mind to it. So he got me on a plan, and I started cranking it from January until now, and I'm still doing it. And I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, it's been the best journey ever. I've completed it with such amazing swiftness, and nah. It'd be nights where I'm be in my bed and I'm like, I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this, man. It's stupid. This don't make sense. But then that inner voice is like, but if you don't do it, who are you letting down? Who are you inspiring right now that if you quit, they may quit? And I don't have a quitting spirit. Like, that's something I don't do. My heart is on 10. Like, I don't never quit. Like, we can be in a battle and I'm just gonna go down till I can't breathe. Like, that's just what it is. So I was like, you know what? I gotta take that same mentality into my workouts. My homeboy Cam in the group, he says he don't like working out with me because I don't know how to stop. He's like, you don't know how to take a break between rests. I'm like, yeah, because I'm in it. Like, I'm in the zone, and I treat the weights like I treat life. You got to keep pushing. Like, that's what it is. And so, yeah, so that changed a lot in me because it taught me, like, just to take my time, be patient with my body, because a lot of people, we rush, when you want to get that summer fit, what I'm saying? We rush and we like, oh, I want it. And in the first 3 weeks, I didn't see no results. I was like, oh, I'm not doing nothing. But then over time, and then by March, I seen cuts. I seen me slimming down. I seen certain things that I didn't see before. And I was like, okay, I'm making the right moves. And you just got to be patient and kind of wait for that progress to catch up. Because sometimes we're a little bit faster than what God has planned. You know what I'm saying? Like, we move in a certain speed that God is like, it's a pastor by the name of Michael Todd calls it the pace of grace. And that's a big thing for me, because the pace of grace is a real thing. It's like, we want to move 1,000 miles per hour on a treadmill, you know what I'm saying? But God is just like, just crank that down a little bit. Let's walk, because we still gonna get there. You want to get there faster, but you getting there faster is gonna cause more hurt, more pain, less growth. You getting there with me is gonna cause you to be steadfast, to be diligent, to be disciplined, and you'll learn. So that's what this working out has taught me. And then I was able to read a lot. 3 books actually, but the 2 that changed my life. It was a book called The Way of the Superior Man, which the funny thing about this book is a woman suggested me the book about 1.5 years ago. At that time, I was like, I'm not reading this. I don't feel like reading this. It's a lot right now. And then all of a sudden, I just got this feeling. It was like, yo, I think you need to read that book. And man, I cracked it open, and it just was wrong. But it goes to show that you can't, once again, it's the pace. Like, you can't rush certain things. I wasn't ready to read it at the time. It wasn't meant for me to read it then, because I don't know if it would have had the same impact on my life. But the way of the Superior Man is essentially a book about the feminine and masculine traits that men have, and how those polarities work with women's feminine and masculine traits, and how certain things, the way we act towards women, or the way we lash out sometimes in a relationship, is due to the feminine or masculine side. And it's just, the whole book is about getting to your true self, whether you're a man or a woman. The woman read it and said it changed her life and her relationship with her husband and with her guy. And I read it, and it just started to make a lot of sense for certain things, the way I may act or the way I may do stuff. And I'm not saying you got to follow everything by the book, but there's certain similarities where you're like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. So I read that book, and then I read a book called 3 Feet from Gold, which was just a book about not giving up. And that book really touched me, because it's just a bunch of stories of people, successful people, who are right there at the brink of things, but it just doesn't work out. And I just seen a quote by the guy who broke the sound barrier. I think his name is Chuck Yeager, if I'm not mistaken. He said, right before you break the sound barrier, the cockpit is its most shaky. It's like the most violent. Oh. And that's life. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right before you break through, everything hits the fan. Everything is like, you're like, what is going on, like things, you know, business deals fall through, you know, so a tragedy may happen, anything, and it's like right before that breakthrough comes, it's like that shaking, but then as soon as you break through, it's like a peace, like a calming. And that whole book, 3 Feet from Gold, pretty much talks about that. And I just picked up another book last night called Ask and It Shall Be Given. Like I'm in a downloading phase of my life right now, and I'm downloading just to spit it back out to whoever may need it. Like I feel like that's a part of my goal in life. A part of my life's mission is to download this information that God wants me to have and to put it out into the world. But so yeah, that's what I've been doing. And I turned 30, so on April 1st. The best.
Born on April Fool's, but ain't no fool about him.
You know,
definitely got
I'm a little foolish.
With that joke about my boots, yes, you definitely are. You know, I'm still saucy about that.
You'll be alright.
But going back to your interview with your pops, shout out to Papa Slice.
Yeah.
For those who do not know,
Slice.
yes, DJ Slice. For those who are trying to listen to that interview with your father, where can they find that? What's the name of it?
You can go on SoundCloud and type in Dormtainment, or it's called the Comedy Trap House. So on iTunes, you can type in the Comedy Trap House, and you'll see the interview featuring Rome's dad. And we call him DJ Slice because when he used to DJ, that's the DJ name he went by, and it's so hilarious. My dad's funny. He's funny.
He got a deep voice like you, huh? Right?
My voice is deeper than his.
I know, but I'm just saying in case you know. He look just like him. When you sit next to him.
I do look just like my dad. It's weird. It's honestly weird because the older I get, the more mannerisms I see. And I'm just like, this is interesting. Like I yell at kids the same way he yell at kids, and he got like a little stutter sometimes. Sometimes I have a little stutter, and he mumbles sometimes. I used to be real bad at mumbling. I've been working on my enunciation when I'm speaking, so I don't have to mumble because, you know, I don't want to keep on having a history of family members that mumble. So, so I'm trying to do better. But yeah, DJ Slice. Did you ask me something about him, or were you about to ask me something about him? You can't remember either, huh?
Nope.
See, when you're enlightened and having this great conversation, it's hard to remember things sometimes, you know. But yeah.
Okay.
Slice. Shout out Slice.
Yes. So just out of curiosity, what I picked up from what you were saying about being a particular way, go, go, go,
Mm-hmm.
I would equate that to masculine energy of just terms of putting forth things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I also equated, I done told you this already, but regarding your whole structure and discipline, that's Virgo moon all day to me.
Okay.
Earth, grounded, stability, security.
Mm-hmm.
And then with you saying that you used to be a person that just always is running around,
mm-hmm.
with you pausing and stopping, and you saying you're in a downloading phase, would you think that maybe that is the balance of the feminine energy within you? Because feminine is receptive
Mm-hmm.
and learning.
No, it definitely is. It definitely is. And I'm an emotional person, like especially when it comes to my craft, when it comes to when I'm involved with somebody intimately, anything like that. I'm an emotional person. All that comes from my feminine energy, and the masculine is my, like, where I'm at right now. Like my life mission is my career, my mission as a man to inspire, to leave a legacy. And if anything gets in the way of that, it immediately gets trumped. Not saying that I won't love my wife and all this stuff like that, but if I'm not my truest self when I'm with her, then I don't feel complete. Then I come home and I'm drained because I don't have my life's work isn't being done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the whole goal. Like, so a lot of times when, you know, some women may not understand why their husband or their creative husband, whoever, he's so like into what he does, is because that's just a part of his DNA as a man. Like that's what he is programmed from his spirit. He's programmed to be that way, and it's not. But the book talks about you can do that and love. Like,
which one?
You can the way of the superior man talks about how you can do your life's mission but love just as hard. Like they said, the way that you attack your career and your life's work is the same way you should ravish your woman in love and even in intimacy in the bed and anything. Like, it's the same, that exact same thing. And when I read it, I was like, that's crazy. And then the book it goes deep, but yeah. So essentially, me on the go. I know that's like the lion part of me. You know, I've said this to you before, the lion and the lamb.
Yeah.
Then I can go, but at the same time, when something with family or something like that comes up, like that's the lamb part of me, like that has to be able to sit and process what's going on. It's a lot of times where I've been go, something that happened with my family or something like that, and I have to have enough balance to come back to that, you know, take care of business, but then get right back to work, which is something that, you know, I'm not looking forward to, but it's something I know is going to happen because I know I'm going to be traveling, do a lot of things, and I never know when something may happen when I'm on the road, and I have to adjust, I have to shift and figure out, you know, what to do. So yeah, I do think that's a lot of my masculine energy, that go, and it's a lot of my parents. My mom, she left the house when she was 17, didn't look back. My dad left when he was 19, 20, didn't look back, and they traveled all their lives. They bounced around, they moved. My granddad which we talked about before. My granddad, he's been working since he was, I think he came out the womb with a hammer and nails. Like, cause he's been building all his life. He's 83 in the lab, and he's still alive. And when I just seen him, he was outside working. I was like, yo, when do you not work? But my grandma doesn't get in the way of that.
Yeah.
She might have her complaints, but she knows that if my granddad was to stop working, he would drop dead. I feel like that's just his thing. Like, that's, some people can't function like me. I can't function without creating. If somebody was to stifle me, put me in a box, and I couldn't move, I couldn't create, you might as well just take me off earth, because what am I doing? What am I doing here? Who am I inspiring? What legacy am I leaving? Who am I teaching? What am I growing? So yeah, that's a lot of that masculine energy, to answer your question, is that the go, for sure. I think so.
No fooling with you, my batteries down last time. I gotta make sure my batteries are still on.
Well, you know, when you pull a lot of energy like me,
anyway,
batteries be down.
But I definitely feel you when it comes to cages. I know my spirit animal is the hummingbird, because that's what it represents, joy and the sound of music and inspiring and just always on the move. They don't ever.
Do you know mine?
This before. I think I pulled yours.
My animal?
I could have sworn I pulled yours.
I know my favorite animal, but yeah.
We can talk about it after the interview.
Okay.
But you know, with hummingbirds, you can't put them in cages because energetically they'll die. Mm-hmm. So when you describe that, I'm like, I'm the same exact way. Like, I cannot feel like I'm in a box in any way, shape, or form, whether it's authority, whether it's professionally, whether it's, you know, relationships, friendships, family. If I feel like it's a cage, I'm not only going to fly away, but I'm gonna fly away like for a while.
Oh,
You're gonna not
see
me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But speaking of your mom, you went back home. You were talking about your grandma and your grandfather just now, and you interviewed them, right?
I interviewed my mom. Yeah.
So what?
For the second time. Yeah.
Now that's on the podcast, correct?
That's also on the Comedy Trap House.
Yeah, I actually heard that interview. I thought that was so sweet. Shout out to Mama Pam.
Shout out to Mama.
So, what were some big takeaways that you got out of interviewing your mother as well as your grandparents?
I know for sure, like, I didn't have my grandparents on record, but I had on record for my personal stuff. I didn't put my interview because it was more of a conversation with my grandma. Right. And I found out that on my grandma's side of the family, nobody worked for anybody. And it's my first time knowing this. I never knew this. She said everything in your family on this side of the family was built from ground up from somebody else in this family.
That's dope.
And I was like, that's why I don't want no job. I was like, for all this long, I was like, I never knew what was this. It was always something in me. It was like, I know I'm meant to own a business. I know I'm not meant to work for nobody. And when she said that, I was like, okay, makes sense. And I never knew that. And another thing I learned is, like, my grandma just has the heart of like, when it comes to not giving up. Like, she told me how they used to have to make their mattress. She had to go pick, because they didn't have the money, she had to go pick straw and stuff it in this thing and make her mattress. Her mom worked for like 14 cents like all this stuff that I'm like, couldn't be me. But then again, it's called sacrifice, and that's a big thing that And like that's one thing I'm big on is sacrifice. You have to be able to sacrifice something in order to complete your life's mission. Me going to LA with the guys, I sacrificed a lot. I sacrificed relationship. I sacrificed being near my family. I sacrificed financial like security. I sacrificed a lot. Like we as a group sacrificed a lot but we know where it's gonna lead. And so my grandma, I was like, I must get that from my grandma. But at the same time, she's so resilient. She's so powerful in my eyes, but she's also one of the most compassionate people that I've ever met. Like I've never heard my grandma say no to anybody. And I'm just like, it'd be times we'd be at a grocery store and she'd be like, I'll be right back, baby.